Okay, hello everyone. How are you?
Hello, I'm good.
Great, nice to hear. And you hear me?
Yes.
How about Martin? Martin, can you hear me? Great. Then no worries, just checking. Okay, let's start for today. Now I have remembered to put the recording on. Okay, I start sharing my desktop now. So here it is. And then here's my presentation. Maybe I do it this way. Just a second. It's easier to see then that if you are commenting something or so you like this. Okay. Let's do it like this. So yes, today's topic is analysis before action. So it's this week's topic. So last week you learned about consumer behavior online. So this week the idea is to talk about what's happening for the companies and how they get visible or how you can analyze if they are visible online. And that's the idea. So if we start with the customer view, this is something that now when you have used consumer barometer and checked the information there, you should already have some sort of idea that what customers want and how they behave. This is just something in general, what people expect from online visibility and actions. So if you're a marketeer in a company, the reason why we are doing all this analysis is that we get some facts behind our decisions. So we aren't just throwing away ideas and being really creative. That's good as well, but it's good to have, some sort of reality basis for our decisions. And yeah, that's why we are doing analysis. In general, so what people expect from the companies is that, first of all, there should be some sort of community and authentic stories. It's not just the marketing uh, mumble jumble or jargon, what people are telling. It's not the advertisement speech or sales speech. It should be something that real people are telling to other real people. So when we started this, the first lesson, I was telling you that the online visibility, online media, so that should be conversation. And this is something that customers expect from companies. And now if you think companies which you have met online, so there are good examples and then there are quite a lot of these bad examples who think that, okay, we are just advertising ourselves instead of telling what's really happening. It's like the behind scenes stories and so on. So that should be something that is something that is appreciated. And with that comes the caring about customers, that the company really shows that they care what the customers think, how they behave. Now you were sharing experiences, the customer service experiences. So I was asking about the good customer service experiences online. So there usually you could see that the company and the service provider really cared about you as a customer. And that's also something that should be then visible for customers when they check some company. Then there is something which is called multi-channeling and omni-channeling. Customers are lazy. They don't bother to go to several channels to look for information. That has to do with search engine optimization as well, that they don't go through many pages to find your company or product or service, they are checking the first ones that appear in searches. So therefore it's worth being in many channels. That's what multi-channeling means. Omni-channeling is, yeah, it has to do with being in many channels, but also that you might provide different contents or different services in different channels, and also that the customer, for instance, if they fill in some sort of information in Facebook, they don't have to refill the same information on net pages, so that these channels should discuss and support each other instead of being separate ones. So that's omni-channeling, and that's what's expected as well. Also that it has to do with offline channels. So to add there, that if you, for instance, call to a company, and then, or if you fill in some sort of form online and then you call to a company, you don't have to answer all those questions all over again, so that they find the information there. And for instance, Finnish banks, some of them are really bad examples of these, because I have myself now during the past year met that you fill in the information online on your online bank, and then there is some sort of service provider clerk calling you, and you have to tell everything all over again. So they don't bother reading it, and that's not omni-channeling. That's not even multi-channeling in that sense. With omni-channeling, I was telling you that it should be easy to find, it should be easy to buy as well. There is this always on 24/7 requirement nowadays for services online, or at least that you have some sort of information that when is the next time that I can get help. So speed is a very relevant issue, and also the always on attitude. And then of course the functionality, that the web page or the social media channel, it functions as it should. It don't take long time to load the pictures and that sort of stuff. And it's also available on your mobile phone, on your smartphones. So therefore there's the mobile. And these are the main expectations for your online visibility. And what we are going to do now is, well, maybe not the next one. Yeah, sorry. In the end, I will show you some tools that help you to analyze if your online visibility is on the level that customers want, or if not. Of course, it's good to keep this in mind. Some reasons why companies in general fail with their efforts, online efforts. First of all, there's not enough understanding, knowledge, or skills. Especially the micro companies, the small and medium-sized companies, but also in the big ones. And now, when you are taking this course, so I actually really hope that when you go or start working or talking about these things, you have more skills and more knowledge what to do. So you don't just throw yourselves to some efforts that don't have any reality basis. Of course, then why we do this customer analysis in the first place is that most of the companies, they don't know their customers or what their customers think or want, and they provide information or services that aren't wanted by the customers, or they are using channels where the customers aren't at all. So that's the reason why we study customers. Again, why we are having this week's topic is that they don't know how their company is doing online. They don't know what to improve, because they don't know which things are working well and which ones aren't working well. Something that is really worrying me is that quite many companies think that this, especially content marketing, is something that someone does when they have free time, or when they are free from other jobs. So something we Finns call that you do it with the left hand. So if you are deciding to be in online media and in online marketing and digital marketing, it's a full-time effort, and creative people cannot be creative if they are full-time, if they have full-time job with something else. So especially for the content, that's something that you should have plenty of time. I've been having this discussion with the articles. People ask me to write blogs and articles, and then when we start talking about prices, they say me that okay, it won't take more than 1 hour to write that blog. Well, okay, writing process might be 1 hour long. It might be even 30 minutes long, but the thinking process behind the whole thing is much longer. So it doesn't just come out of the blue. You need to have some sort of process inside your head. All of you who have been writing something know about this. But in many companies, they think that it's only the exact time that takes for the writing, and then thinking should be done on your own time. And of course, then they don't follow up and they don't measure. So that's one of the things as well. Because all that we do now here, all these analyses, these are also the part of measurement and follow-up. So in a way the circle starts around, and now I'm talking about the last bit of planning while I'm talking about the first bit of planning. Hey, and also remember to interrupt me if you have questions or something, or if you disagree with what I'm saying, so go ahead, ask. Then there is or the topic or the risks. Of course, you saw why companies fail. Those are the risks. But to bring up some other risks is, of course, human errors or errors in general. Someone might post something online which wasn't meant there to be there, and then you got to take your time to correct those things. That's something. Of course, information security, viruses, phishing, all sorts of tracking programs and so on. So that's one of the problems nowadays, and you should be careful with that. Human errors and reputational risks, they go hand in hand. So as I probably have mentioned before, what happens online stays online. So if you, for instance, serve a customer really badly and you don't provide him or her a proper way of giving feedback, and then also you acting in a proper way back there, so he or she is going to go to TripAdvisor or whatever review site and then sharing her or his information, her bad feelings with so many others. And that might harm your reputation. There can also be misunderstandings online, and if you don't follow up what's happening online, you might not even be aware of those. So those are quite big risks. They might be mere lies, not probably in our Western countries or in Finland and in Europe, but then if we go to the South America, for instance, African countries, maybe in United States as well, it's happening quite often that your competitors share lies about you, and they might have really bad effects as well. And then, of course, lack of consistency or planning. Consistency about posting online as well, the information, because there should be some sort of strategy behind what you are sharing with your customers or with your stakeholders, and it should be regular. So that's one of the risks as well. And then some advice what to do. And now when you have this assignment about risks and so on, so I think that this is the list that you could use there as well, because it's quite good. Even though I'm saying it myself, it's not mine. Some of them are mine, my experiences, but also I have used some IT nerds telling me that how I should behave online as a company or as a private person. So the first one is think what you click. And this is probably familiar to you as well. I think that all of us have some time received a mail or a message in WhatsApp or Facebook or Snapchat, where not maybe Snapchat, or at least I have not, but my Snapchat usage is so little that it might happen. But in Facebook, in WhatsApp, and also in email, you probably have received some sort of attachments or links that might not be what they look like. They might hide some sort of virus and so that kind of things. And once you have made the mistake and clicked that, you are really careful about what you are clicking. But it's a good thing that if you don't know the sender, if you aren't sure if this is real or not, you can always ask the sender that was this really, or if for instance Facebook, you get this, that is this your picture from some Finnish friend written in English. So you can always ask that, did you send me a link to a picture or something like that? Also think what you write online. Don't just share all of your life or of your company there, even though it should be authentic, but you can have some sort of censorship there or criticism there as well. Sometimes it's good to use Google to ensure the safety of some companies, because if you're a company, you get messages from very versatile potential partners or potential customers, and Google is your friend in this case as well. And it has to do with this, be careful with the strangers. Very basic thing. Have a virus program, have a firewall, and remember to update those. Unfortunately, it's not happening in all companies, even though it seems that, this is so basic stuff that how can it be? If you have a company with several persons working for you, or if you're your own, think about the good passwords. It's not your social security number, or it's not your wife's name or girlfriend's name or something like that. It should be a good one. What kind of is a good one? There should be caps, and there should be at least 7, I think. It depends on the company. 7 symbols, and then there should be 1 number and 1 something else, then letter or number, so other symbol there. And there should be changed regularly. Not like I've been having the same password the past 10 years. In Hagahelia we changed them every 6 months. In Laurea we changed them every 2nd month, which was quite actually frustrating, because you were always thinking of the new passwords, but it was really safe in that sense that you had all the time a new password going on. Don't share everything online. Your social security number, account number, credentials. And now if you think that, okay, that's so typical and no one's doing it, I don't remember exactly how many millions in Finland only. There were people spending money to this, what we call Nigerian letters. You get this letter that, okay, we have received your name from some sort of law firm, and you have received this and this much money, so send us your account number and so on. So in Finland only, it was millions of euros that people were putting to these, or missing for these, losing for this sort of scams. Then also privacy settings, what should be shared and what not, has to do with social media presence as well. And then the copyright laws, it's actually something that I've been talking a lot for companies nowadays, that what you can do and what you can't do. For instance, you cannot just take pictures from Google, even though they are available there. So you cannot take them and use them for your marketing. That's one of the examples. So remember the copyright laws. Any questions so far?
Nope.
No, thanks. Okay. So I don't have so many slides here today. but this is now the tools that I promised to show you. So how do they measure if we are doing good? First, to be aware of the risks. Now we know how our customers behave. So the next step is to figure out if we are successful online and if we are visible online. And there are several tools for those. I start with the Alexa, which is a very basic tool. And now if I click here so you see it, it looks like this. And now when you see this first, you see pricing and login. But don't be worried. You don't have to log in and you don't have to pay for anything. You just scroll all the way down here and you get browse top sites or search for a site. And then you can write here, as you see, I have written this earlier as well. Haaga-Helia, or whatever company or site you are choosing now. I like to use Haaga-Helia as an example. And now it takes a while before it scrolls. Sorry about this. I think, yeah. And you get something that looks like this. Of course, you can take the trial version of this and get a little bit more information, but for instance, for assignment, you get all the information needed with this free version. And actually, this is something that I'm using when I'm consulting companies, so I'm using only this. I don't have any account here either. So Alexa measures the traffic on your website. Yeah, here you can see how the traffic has changed during the past year, I think, because here's July. And you see the global rank based on the traffic here and the rank in Finland as well. So I'm not even trying to say this. Well, 263rd is this one, but then 66,150 in the world. And it shows also that the traffic has gone up quite a lot. Well, you know that we are right now taking in people or trying to get new students, so that's one of the reasons why it's gone up also. So this is very general. Then the next part is that you can see where the audience or the visitors are coming from. And in this case, most of them are from Finland, not really surprising. Explanation comes later on, and then there's some from South Africa and some from India. Maybe there are international students who are looking for to study here. And yeah, already getting some idea of the customers as well. Well, the next one is how engaged are visitors to Haaga-Helia. So here we can see that the bounce rate is 36.5, which is really good actually. Usually around under 50 is okay still. Bounce rate means that you know how balls bounce. You put them to the floor and it bounces back. So it means that when you go to a website and you right away click back, so you bounce back, you won't stay on that website. And big reasons to that is that either it's a wrong website, it looks not nice, so you know it's not attractive, you don't want to stay there, or for some reason you find out that this was not for me, so you bounce back. That's one of the reasons. So this is quite good. Now we can already analyze that, okay, people who are visiting us, they are really, well, in a way they are interested, they are the right ones. We can see also daily page views. So people who are visiting Haaga-Helia pages, they are looking 7 pages daily, well, in average per visitor, and they are spending 6 minutes and 15 seconds there, which is also good. It can also be bad in that sense that, well, in this case I think that this is quite nice, but it can be bad because it can also be an indicator that they don't find what they are looking for. We can also see where they came from here, search traffic, how many of them. So here underneath is that most of them have come from Google, some of them from Office and YouTube and so on. Top keywords. And now when I was telling you that it's not really surprising why the Finns are the most interesting part is that when you look at the keywords they've been looking for online and why they have ended up to Haaga-Helia pages, there's Haaga-Helia, Moodle, Kirjasto, so library, University of Applied Sciences. These are probably the ones that are the applicants and maybe the first one, but number 2, number 3, and number 5, they are our own students who are looking for some specific site in Haaga-Helia. So it's not really surprising that most of the visits are taking place in Finland. Then you can also see the sites. And why is it important to see the links or the sites that link to Haaga-Helia? It has to do with search engine optimization, which is the topic for the next lesson or next week. The more links you have back and forth, so the more pages you are linking from your own pages. So, for instance, Haaga-Helia could link to City of Helsinki, and then City of Helsinki could link back to Haaga-Helia. That's something that increases your rank in search engines and brings you closer to the top, so to say. So it's interesting to see these as well. So you see that there are 460 links, and then always it's really interesting to see that what kind of sites are linking there, but I'm not going into that one either. And then of course what are the related sites, but that's not really up to. So this is very basic view how your pages are working, but gives you already some sort of idea that okay, was this good or was this bad? And in this case we can say that okay, it was good, but it could also indicate that something is going really, really, really bad. Then we have something which is called SEMrush. I'm still using the same www.haagahelia.fi. Okay, and then well, it could be US, but you can choose your country here. I have already this requires register, this one, so that you should register in there, but it's free still. Not going to upgrade anything. So Finland. And when I was talking about links, so search engines, so this gives you idea that how many, for instance, backlinks and forth links you have, how many keywords you have, and also organic searches that means that someone comes to your pages by themselves. You don't in a way encourage them to be there, that they have the need and they are writing the keywords to your search engine and so on. Paid search is then something that it's like the advertisements in Google. So you can compare these ones as well. Then there are also the keywords again, which has to do with search engine optimization. Are these the good keywords or bad keywords? And what does they indicate? That's something I went through already in the past one. You can also see the competitors, and if you want to, you can then compare the competitors as well. Here is the competitive positioning map, something that I asked you about in the first assignment. So now you get a tool to do that one as well. And then, of course, there are branded searches and so on. So lots of information here as well, which you can go through and see backlinks and anchors and so on. More about the search engine optimization especially, but to have some sort of idea how your company is doing from this perspective as well. And these two are like the general for the websites. Then if we want to know what people are talking about you, we have again then free tools. There is Tagboard. I open all of them, social mention, and then there's Google Alerts. And now this is in Finnish. I don't know. I tried to change it to to some other language, but for some reason it just keeps on being in Finnish. But the idea is that you can create, for instance, for your own name, that every time someone searches for with my name, you get an alert to your email here, and create an announcement. I have for my own company here, this is a company I'm actually consulting, this one, a hairdresser and so on. So now we see that there wasn't any lately, neither is there any lately any information about that. But you should get like a list that how many of these have been searched lately, and you get an alert to your email as well about that one. Really nice tool if you have lots of traffic on your website. Then there was the social mention part, and now we can use the Haaga-Helia here as well. So what are people talking about Haaga-Helia online? And here you say, first of all, there are tweets. You see the little bird in front of, and yeah, you can sort them by date or any time and so on. So there has been lots of tweets about Haaga-Helia. Let's see if there is something else. Not on the first page, which means that okay, our Twitter is working well. Then there is WordPress, some sort of CERN bootcamp.wordpress, so we have been active there. So you see that this is something that people have been talking about us. And then the third page, and still tweets, and then WordPress. And yeah, here's Blogger. I think that this is I think that this is VKontakte, since it's Russian.
Ask something for a second.
Sorry.
May I ask something for a second?
Yeah, of course.
The thing about the Google alert, you said you get some notification when someone Googles you, and it's just for your information that you know that someone Googled you.
Yeah.
Is there?
And then what I was saying, that my examples are really bad there because there isn't any searches for them. For the hairdresser nor my company, because hairdresser has her clientele already. I don't think that lots of people are looking for them. But if it would have been Haaga-Helia, because if I now write Haaga-Helia, you don't get any results. But if I had it for a week, you would have get statistics there as well, that how many people have been looking for Haaga-Helia. And you get alert to that one as well. So sorry about bad demo. This was the demo effect, that it's a good tool, but my examples were really bad.
Okay. Now I understand, but thank you.
Sorry. Yeah, good. Just ask if you don't understand. So just to show you that also this what was this? Social mention, not tag board. So you get information from different channels that what has been talked about your company, and then it also somehow measures that has it been positive or negative what has been said about your company. So here you see that according to this, there has been 2 positive comments and then 42 neutral comments. It's not exact science, so if you read those, it's not always like that, but in a way it gives you quite nice idea that are people really, especially if there are negative comments, lots of negative comments, you should be alerted then that something is wrong. You can also see that how many mentions per hour there are, how many authors there have been, during this time, and so on. So, and what has been, again, the top keywords and top users. Here we have seen Petya and Lena are our teachers, Jonna belongs to HR, and so on. And then also we get some sort of information about the hashtags and sources. Here we saw that most of them come from Reddit and Twitter and WordPress. So yeah, another tool, and here you get more like the information about the contents that people are talking about your company. And also what could be said about this social mention. Now we see that most of these are something that Haaga-Helia well, representatives have created. So it's a content that we are posting as a company online. What would be much more interesting is that if there were lots of information and contents that others would post online about us, because that's also something that we should strive for as a company, to create that buzz that people are talking about us, instead of just we feeding in the information. But it's not easily done. But here you can see also that one. And then the last one was tag board, which is quite similar as the social mention. Requires again the logging in. Let's see what happens. Yeah. Oh no. I did this with my private computer, so now it's not working. So my tag boards, view all, there shouldn't be any at the moment. Create your first, and then we can add a hashtag, for instance, Hagahelia, and let's see what happens. So now we get again information about people who have posted with the hashtag Hagahelia. And again, we can then study if they are our own or if they are someone else's, and where these have been appeared. There's Instagram and there was Twitter and so on. So again, one tool for the contents. And then of course you can then sort these if you want to with some other well, to some other order and so on. As you probably noticed, my favorite is the social mention, but to show you that there are other tools. Then two more. These are more like social media ones. Hashtagify is more or less the same as the tag board. Sorry, cannot write and talk at the same time. But here again, we can see what happens when we track Hagahelia or search Hagahelia. Again, we get some numbers. Popularity out of 100 isn't really good. Recent popularity, not really good. But then also we get who are the top influencers. Again, this gives you a little bit more inside information of the company. So we see our headmaster is here, our own communications department and so on. Popularity trend, well, this is just sad to see. This is last 2 months. But also we can see the languages used, special variants used and so on. So this was about the hashtag in general. Then also we can check it how it looks in Twitter. Hagahelia. Not track. Suggest. Stick around. I'll catch you later. And it gives you the same here as well. If we check only, yeah, like this, I think it goes the same way. But to give you an idea if your hashtag is really working, or maybe you should think whether it's because of your communication department, your activities, or is the hashtag totally wrong? Because now if you are using, for instance, hashtag like Hagahelia, it's very specific hashtag. Maybe you should have some sort of more general hashtag as well, where you could see this one. Likealizer then. Okay, my link is not working. Sorry about that. Let's go here. this is for the Facebook. Now we can write Diki Preacher. And it gives you bad results. Doing alright, but there is room to improve. You get a rank 42 out of 100, meaning that yeah, there are lots of things you can do. And then you can get about the, well, you get information about very detailed information, what could be done in order to improve your Facebook visibility, and so on. So, yeah, this is quite nice tool actually. Even though the example isn't the perfect, but you get the idea that like rank is 42, and what is good, the front page is nice, the response rate is nice, but I should add more information for the about, I should do something more here, and also the engagement could be improved. And then it gives you the detailed information, which information is missing about, and what kind of activity should be done. Well, post anything could be good. And also engagement. So now there are 639 page likes, but no one has liked any posts and so on. Maybe because there hasn't been anything there. So you see, I'm already analyzing what the results are, and this is what these tools are for. So of course, if you have your own Facebook page and you can look at the insights, you can as well use the information there. Google Analytics we talked last week, and there's also the similar information as in Alexa and Semrush. But the idea is that you should have some sort of objective data, not just that we think that this page looks good and the information is really appealing and so on. This is what I usually read in my thesis supervision, or those theses that I supervise. So that's the idea, that you think that what's good now, what should be done in the future, what could be improved, and then also trying to position towards the competitors here, and also thinking what the customers want. And then based on this information, it should be again easy, because you see that what I was analyzing here, I was giving you activities already. You should have more contents here, or you should have more links here, and so on. It's the digital marketing, it's the activities, it's the implementation. So you have the grounds, you have the facts behind then what you are doing, what you are implementing there. That's the reason why this is also introduced to you. And I think that this was actually the last one. Yes, this was very short, this presentation today. But what about you? Any questions at the moment?
Why did you choose exactly these tools you just provided? For example, the SEMrush and everything, because like, from my opinion, there are plenty of those kind of tools, and it's really difficult to say which one is good, because if you Google best like SEO tools or whatever, like I think all of these posts are kind of paid or whatever in a way influenced, you know?
Yeah, of course. Good question. I chose these ones because these are the ones that I've been using quite a lot, and I have found this really useful. Of course, there are lots of other tools. Some of them need registration. Of course, some of my tools as well. I have tried to choose tools that are free, and most of them don't require any registration. And as mentioned, I'm using these when I consult companies if they don't have their own Google Analytics, or if they don't have any Facebook Insights or something like that yet. So these are the free tools that can be used. So that's the reason. But I probably have mentioned in assignments as well that if you find some other tool that you find that is working well and you think that this is good, so go ahead. There isn't anything that you must use exactly these ones. This is just to show you that you have the information and you can get the information online. So it's not about that you know, I cannot get this kind of information, because it is there, it is available. But it's a good question, thank you. Did this satisfy you?
Of course, the only thing is like because for like if for example not just for the work here, like for example when I do something for my former company or something, I was always struggling to take a choice which tools should I use, which tools should I use because they provide kind of the same information, but where's the difference? Why are there plenty of them? Which one is really the best? Is it just about the price, how much I would have to pay for the tool, or is there really a difference between the tools? The mechanism is always the same. They crawl a website and they look for all this stuff, for all the information they provide, but which one is really like the best one? So yeah, that's what I really wanted to know just for my own use too, if I have to use it and if I would have to pay for it too.
This is my preferences, so to say. I have been trying quite a lot of them. I've been, yeah, trying to see if which one is good and which isn't, and which is working really well. So these are my preferences. So that's very subjective view on the things. I'm always recommending that for companies as well as for students, that if you have an access to the own analytics tools in the company, whatever they are. They might be Google Analytics or something else. So use those because the information is, of course, it's exact. But then, for instance, when it comes to the competitor analysis, that how should I then compare our company towards competitors? I don't think that competitors really look forward you going there and saying that, hey, I'd like to see your analytics. So these give you some sort of hints at least that how they are doing.
Okay, understand. Yeah. Okay, thank you.
Other questions?
No, not from my side. I'm satisfied.
So the idea with this lesson or this part is to, for instance, or first to show you, or first to remind you that it is really important to know where we are at the moment, and that's why we are doing this analysis and getting the information first. And by getting good information, you already get some suggestions to the activities or the implementation of the digital marketing. Because that's sometimes students especially ask me that why are we talking so much about this analysis and this research, is that this is course in digital marketing and I'd like to do things instead of studying things. But well, studying usually is the 80% of everything and doing is 20%, because then you know what you do quite easy. And the second thing is to show you that there are tools, that the information is there. But of course, there isn't any way saying that use exactly these tools. You can use other tools as well. And actually in Moodle, in the first box, there is something that tools, and you have quite a long list other tools as well than these. So you can use anything or find something on your own. So these are the two reasons why we have this part. If you don't have any other questions, so I think that we could end this. I was really happy that I had 2 listeners.
Hey, I have one question.
Go ahead.
Considering the assignment, I accidentally picked the wrong topic for
Yeah.
So I did what was it? Data breach, the information leak. So I picked the large-scale cyber attack accidentally.
Okay. Well,
So it
don't
was
worry
data
about
leak.
that. Yeah. Don't worry about that. It's not the end of the world. It's just fine.
Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you.
No worries about that. There was one thing I wanted to mention about Alexa, which I forgot. Of course, if you have a little company, if you have a small company, or if you have a startup, so you might not get any results there. because it's not ranked anyway. The traffic is so little. This is probably not for you, but for hopefully others who are listening this. So check anyways what kind of information you get from that, and then you can use some bigger company as a comparison just to get the idea there. But usually I'm consulting quite a lot of startups, so you don't get really information from Alexa, nothing besides the link and so on, which is also interesting from the search engine optimization perspective. But then you can also compare that what kind of information you get from a competitor that is a bit larger, and then use that information for planning the future. Just to mention.
Yeah, I tried to search something, but I didn't get anything because that was a startup company.
Yeah, but then you can think that, okay, if there's a bigger one who's, more or less the similar way using, and see that information and then apply it to your company in that sense that it feels good for you.
Okay.
Jonna, if you have time for a second, I would also like to ask about the first assignment, because I just saw that I already have the feedback, and if you have time, would it be possible?
Of course. Yeah, of course.
Is it possible to do it now, or should we wait for if there's some other questions?
Do you have anything, Otto? Anything more?
No.
Well.
Okay, great.
Then we call it. I stopped the record.